Let's talk about how I do game design. I have surprisingly little to say about this topic, um, but I do think it's good stuff, even though it's not much. So, when I'm starting designing something, I it's usually because I have played something and I didn't like one aspect of the game that I was playing. So that really can be anything. And it's usually a game that I at least like somewhat because otherwise I wouldn't even be playing it. And then I think, oh, if only this game had this, if only I could do this. Oh, I really wanted the game to have this, allow me to play differently in some way. So I guess you want some likes and some dislikes in what you're playing. That's an initial aspect of the formula. And then you write down ideas. I write down a lot of ideas. Sometimes I'll have game ideas and just write them down. And most of those just remain written down and I never do anything with them, right? And this goes for games that I'm designing as well. I'll have I'll have several ideas and write down pretty much all of them and then implement a very small subset of those. You want to see which ideas will stick around and still be good, still sound good in a couple of days or even in a week. You want them to stand the test of time. And it's okay to not know a lot when you're designing. I guess this happens mostly at the beginning, but in any part of the process, I think. Because if you try to know too much, you kind of ruin your design a little bit by trying to know too much. Because it's in the spaces of unknowing that you're going to get the good stuff. You need to leave these blanks so that you can fill those blanks with great ideas. And you have to be okay with them being left blank for a while. And I like to have an experience in mind more than a mechanic, but that's really personal preference. There's no right way to do this, and I know that a lot of designers work the opposite way, where they start with a mechanic and then they figure out a theme or an experience around the mechanic. It's just not for me. I start with some experience that I want the player to have, like, oh, you can be a Roman in the Roman Republic. And then I figure out what are the mechanics that support that. But you could just experiment with abstract mechanics and then make a game around that. So that's the beginning of the process. The middle of the process for me is just this constant opening and closing, as I like to think of it. You're opening up new possibilities as you need them. So you might realize that there's some problem in your design. Oh, this is not working out. We need to do something different here. And okay, you need to generate new ideas to solve that. And you generate new ideas, and you will generally generate more than you need. So now you have a different problem, which is, okay, which of these ideas are actually good? Which of these get to stay in the game, get to be part of the game? That's it's a good problem to have, but it's can be a hard one. That the process of cutting things and closing the design, making things tighter, it's a very important piece. And then you kind of do those two movements again and again. You open the design, explore new possibilities, and then you close, you cut. You get to the essence of the solution, get to what really solves the problem you were trying to solve. And then you have new problems and you generate new solutions. Repeat that, and you have a game. At some point, you want feedback. Probably you want feedback along the way. And then dealing with feedback is its whole thing, so I'll not get into that here. And finally, a lot of game design happens subconsciously. That's my experience, at least. Where the best ideas show up when you're in the shower or when you're about to sleep and stuff like that. And you can't force it. So, wow, I really need a solution for this. I'm going to spend 5 hours now coming up with the solution to this design problem. Good luck with that. You can certainly try. But in my experience, it's better to just let the ideas come to you. Sure, you need to feed your brain the right questions. You need to know what the problems are in the design. But then you just be patient and wait for the right ideas to come along. And that's how I do game design. There really isn't a whole lot more to it. And that's gonna be it for this watercolor as well. Let me show you what I did. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.